deportations of students and immigrants in America, executive orders coming from every which way you can see, over 150, executive actions targeting law enforcement agencies, legal enforcement agencies, stripping powers of regulatory agencies, coming up with the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, foreign federal grants are not, foregoing foreign American grants for colleges and universities for students, birthright citizenships frozen, the dismantling of the Agency for International Development, dismantling of the Department of Education. It is so many different things going on right now in America. Removal of the U.S. from the World Health Organization, close the Pell Grants for federal student loan programs, rollback of the Environmental Protection Agency. All these things are part of what's happening in America today. And we are just victims as if we have no say so whatsoever. But I want to welcome you to the Black News Network, BNN 247, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting live every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. I would like to welcome and introduce to some and present to others my co-host, Mr. Claude Foster, hailing from Houston, Texas. So thank you, Mr. Claude. Go ahead and let us know what you're saying.
Well, go ahead. Glad to be with you, brother. It's a little bit stormy down here in the land, Houston land, Sugar Land, Pear Land. You know, all those lands that we're part of. It's a little bit stormy, but the subject is a little bit stormy. Anytime you talk about politics, it's a storm. So
You're right.
we're going to talk about politics and how you get elected and the consequences of not being elected. You just laid out the consequences, but it just goes to show you the powers that the executive person has in this democracy, and we got a Supreme Court that decides whether or not that executive has gone too far, and so far they've kind of let him, they've kind of thrown the fish and rod out in the ocean, and he keeps going farther and farther out to sea with it, and so. I don't know what's going to rein that government back in. Like I say, he's for the first time in our history, probably we've got a president that's testing the boundary of every aspect of our Constitution in terms of our constitutional government. The Senate and the Congress are supposed to be checks and balances, but so far they haven't been able to do neither. So we'll see where we go from here.
It is such a sad story that we have to deal with this type of stuff. I mean, the DEI has been a big issue. The halting of funding for small businesses is a big issue. No more clean energy initiative. Drill, baby, drill. That's what his idea of clean energy is. It is just so much going on right now. We have to be diligent citizens and get involved in what's happening here in our America, because it is our America. Before we move forward, I would just like to put out a little bit of logistics. Please go to BNN 247 on YouTube and subscribe to our page. Don't forget, like us on Facebook, make a comment. And if you make a comment today, my objective would be is to get your comment on the screen while we are talking. So if I can do that, I'll definitely make that happen. Hopefully you'll have something to say about what we want to talk about today. All these things that we mentioned have happened week after week after week after week. I mean, back to back to back. I don't understand how you can expect to get a single thing done when every time you address one thing, there's a new thing on the horizon. So with us being in America and not really be involved in politics at a level that we should be involved in. It is us are the ones who are suffering from this whole deal. The prices are going up. I mean, every time you hear our administration talk, prices are going down. But when we go to the store, we're getting less and less for our dollar at the grocery store, getting less and less for our gasoline prices, getting less and less for the insurance rates. For every single thing, we end up paying more across the board. But we're getting the message that it's all going down. And I think the only reason we have to deal with it this way is because we are not addressing our political needs as citizens of this America. We are allowing the wrong people to fall into these positions, and they are not representing the people. They're representing themselves. Every single person that I ain't gonna say every single one, but many of the people that are in elected positions right now are all about themselves and all about the money that they can put in their pocket. Just look at how Israel pays senators to endorse them on their efforts against the Palestinians. That's a big deal. If I go on national television or if I go on my social media and I say, well, Israel is a great country and they're doing the best they can to end this war with the Palestinians, even though 5 children are dying every single day or more from starvation. When you got 100 trucks lined up with food that they won't allow to cross into the borders of Palestine. It is not right. Being a righteous country is just doing the right thing. And right now we seem to have a problem with witnessing other countries doing the right thing. The Russia and Ukraine situation, what is the right thing to do? People are being bombed in apartment complexes, in hospitals, and there's over 100. They said 150 news reporters have been killed in covering the Palestinian war over there with Israel. That is just so unheard of, and nobody wants to do a damn thing about it. And that's what I got a problem with, and I see it all the time. And we really, I really want to say it's our fault because we're the ones who put the people in office that make the decisions that have been made. I mean, it talk to me, Claude. I don't even know where to go. I don't want to keep whining about it.
Let me just clarify one thing. We're not the ones that actually put people in office. It's the money that puts people in office, and it's money that we don't have a lot of. And you look at the different agendas out there. You mentioned the situation with Israel, and you look at other interests, and you look at where our politicians land. That's because that's where the money comes from. If the money came from the black community, a lot of policies would land in the black community. But because we don't have any money, we got 67 or 66 black members of Congress. How has that? Have you seen a black plan? Well, give me 5 points from a black plan that you've seen.
Haven't seen it.
Because ain't no money coming from the black folks. Yeah, our vote. Yeah, we tell people to go out and vote for a certain party, but where's the plan from either party? Give me 2 points of a plan that you've heard that impact black folks. That's because the money don't come from black folks. The money comes from special interests, goes through these organizations, especially dark money that you never see. You don't know where it's coming from. But like nonprofits, when you look at all the different nonprofits that are out there that help to elect candidates, Brad Jordan was the last candidate I worked on, last campaign I worked on. And you look at his back of his campaign brochure, and you see SIU and AFL-CIO and across the pack track and pipe fitters. So money goes to those kind of organizations. and they work to elect a candidate that supports their policy agenda. Where's the candidates that support our policy agenda, black people's policy agenda? Where are they? They're not there, and I was hoping that we have our guest on because they're asking for support, I guess. But what's their black agenda? What's their plan? You know, uh, but the bottom line, brother, we don't have any money. We don't have any hard money. We don't have any soft money. Our we got plenty of 501c4s, but they're not out there working on behalf of candidates. The unions are. I mean, most people contribute through their unions, but the unions can't directly support a candidate, but they can do phone banking for them. They can do door-to-door canvas for them, and when you look at all the different groups, the LGBT groups, and all these different groups that support those agendas, don't you know when they give money, they expect something in return?
Absolutely.
Black folks, we give our vote. So what's more important, the money or your vote?
The
Who
money.
gets the attention? The person that voted or the person that gave money?
The money.
Who buys the candidate? The person that voted for the candidate or the person that gives the candidate money?
It's
When
the
you got a
money.
county commissioner got $500,000 in the bank account, who you think his allegiance is to? The 30,000 people black people that voted for him, or the $400,000 in donors money that he got? And so that's our dilemma. One, we do not have an agenda. I couldn't tell you what our black agenda is. We got 67 members of the Congressional Black Caucus, and I can't tell you what that agenda is. We getting ready to have a Congressional Black Caucus annual affair in September. They're gonna have a few workshops, but they're known for their partying, having a good time. Because the special interests, the payday lenders, and all like that, they got PACs that they pay money to that support those candidates. That's why we have the kind of morass in our communities. That's why those things get to stay there, because those candidates have bought into their agendas, not directly, but through their political action committee. There is no entity that pays directly. If you got a payday lender, they got a payday lending association, a nonprofit that gives the candidate, that supports that candidate either financially or works on their behalf to get them elected.
Wow.
So what we have to understand is the black churches can't do it. They're 501c3s. Nonprofits can do it. They can give up to 49%, well, over half, almost half of their money for political purposes. That's authorized in the IRS. You know, I applaud Chuck for keep trying to want to start a 501c3, 501c4, but you got to educate the voters. You got to help black people understand on a universal basis that it ain't the vote that empowers their agenda, it's money. Money drives this country. Money is, when a politician is in Congress working on issues, he's working on those issues from those entities that gave him money to get him elected. Whether it's the payday lenders, whether it's the alcohol industry, whether it's the tobacco industry, they're working on legislation to make their lives much better that's been written by those industries. They're just carrying the legislation. Because I don't care how much money you got, you can't do what that legislator does in that government body. You can't introduce nothing that benefits your company. That has to be done by a legislator. You can't change not one law. That has to be done by Congress, or by the Senate, or signed by the president. But if you bought and paid for those guys to be there, I'm willing to bet you that your agenda gonna get there. And we wonder, we look around at the black community, whether it's San Antonio. I'm talking about the black community. I'm talking about where these black legislators come out of. And you wonder why the payday lenders are still there. the all the vices are still there. The tobacco companies selling cigarettes to our young people. You wonder why that's still in our communities. But wonder no longer. It's because of dark money. It's because of who funds their campaign, who pays their war chest. When they got when they got $500,000 in their bank account representing a poor black community, where do you think the money's coming from?
PACs,
Where do you think the money's coming from?
political PAC.
You mentioned Israel. Where you think why you think black folks support Israel? Where you think the money's coming from?
And I just saw something where a bunch of pastors just went out and endorsed what Israel is doing over there. Bunch of black pastors.
But they was doing it on moral grounds.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that wasn't political grounds. They was doing it on moral grounds. I guess church could have 501c4. I don't know of any church with a 501c4. I guess they. I don't know what would restrict them from having the 501c4 and contributing to a campaign by having their church members go out and knock on doors, make phone calls and stuff like that. I don't know whether they can do that, but I do know we have plenty of 501c4s in our community.
All right, so let's go back to this political ambition. You can't win if you don't run. How do we get the tides to turn in our favor where we can get our people back into politics?
Well, first of all, I guess there should be a universal black agenda for black Americans. That all candidates, regardless of what level, would support. Because politics start at the local level. So, but if you ask the typical black person about what is the agenda, they couldn't tell you. Can you?
Well, there's no agenda all the way up to the highest ranking Democratic Party person.
Okay.
I mean, there's no mission. There's nothing out there saying this is what we are trying to do right now.
Right. So, but why isn't there one? We got 66 black elected officials in Congress. We got hundreds in state houses. We got thousands at the city council level. So you telling me that that black interest is intertwined with everybody else's interest, and then how do they get ranked? Whose interest first? Whose interest second? Whose interest is third? And on down the line, how does it get ranked?
Well, we already know where our interest is.
And so I'm just saying that I think that there has to be a little bit more education, a little bit greater understanding. I mean, you have black PACs. I mean, Houston's got a number of majority African American PACs that raise money and that endorses candidates and knock on doors or provide provide volunteers to make phone calls on their behalf. I mean, that's what the dark money. I mean, that's what the hard money organizations can do. You know, political action committees. You know, that's where you see the money. You know where the money comes from. From that, like if you start a PAC, you have to list who your donors are. But if you got a 501c4 and you're working on behalf of a candidate, you don't have to know. You don't have to list who your donors are. You don't have to report who your donors are. And so we need to get more involved in the structure of politics and understand. Like I say, is it because of lack of resources? Corporations can give money now. Corporations give a lot of dark money to these PACs outside political spending. So I mean, there's a lot to compete with. I mean, it may sound.
But we gotta start somewhere though.
But what I'm saying is, I just think that like traditional PACs. Let's start there, like political action committees. Anybody can start one. You have to report your donors. You have to report to the state. But political action PACs so that you can help the right locally candidates get elected. And then once they get in office at the local level and they get a little bit of experience under their belt, they move on to the next level. But
Mhm.
they got black folks that's at the core of their support financially. And so I think from that process, I think we'll have better representation by the time we get to Congress, by the time we get to the Senate. But if you
So
don't have that,
we should start now, though. We got the midterm coming up next year, and I haven't seen how we have engaged ourselves into the political atmosphere based on what's coming up for the midterm. There's nothing out there saying what Democrats or black people are trying to do for this midterm election.
well, the Democrats have a strategy now to keep Trump from getting the majority in the Senate or the House. That's their strategy. But that's the Democrats.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? That's the Democratic Party, the Democrats, allegedly, because that's the party for us, uh, which his historically, you know, when you look at our spaces and our places, being a Democrat hadn't had any major improvements to the majority of African Americans' quality of life and existence in this country. To be honest with you,
Mhm.
I mean,
So
we talk about the you know, we're still talking about the importance of the Voting Rights Act. How about quality of life? How about jobs? How about health outcomes? But we got
well,
to go
we've
all the
kind
way
of
back.
seen you've
We got to
seen
go.
all the demise of all these services that you just mentioned. There's nothing we can get done without getting engaged into political office running for an office. I
Well,
mean, putting candidates out there that will run for office with the right mindset, not about themselves. The 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 selfless service that we require seems to be non-existent now because it seems like everybody can be bought. That's just the bottom line. Everybody that I mean, there's only very few people in the politics right now that can't be bought. Even Al Sharpton been bought. You know, even I like Al Sharpton. Don't get me wrong, I like him, but he's been paid off, man, because he's so conservative right now. He's got his own talk show host going and all that kind of stuff. But he's not no more than a political uplifter. He gives
yeah,
you encouragement.
but I would just push back and say, I mean, it's the Supreme Court opened the door to money in politics, and it's not going anywhere. So we got to learn how to play that game. I mean, black folk, we've always pooled our resources. I mean, we pooled our resources during the civil rights movement when we had to raise money to get people out of jail. How come we can't do the same thing to put the right candidates in office?
We,
I mean, this ain't the first rodeo we've been on, where
let's
we
go back. Let's go back to the 60s and 70s. Where was the target market for black politicians and political people that ran for office?
well, you got to
In the
remember now.
university.
Well, you got to
The,
remember if you want to go back to the '60s, the first person elected after all that effort in the '60s was who? The first black person elected in the South after all the civil rights struggles in 1965 and beyond, the voting rights, the sacrifices that people made in my hometown.
elected to what? Federal level,
Federal,
state
federal,
level, what?
federal.
Is it the lady from California?
No, it was Barbara Jordan in
That,
1973.
well,
Barbara
okay,
Jordan,
Barbara
18th
Jordan, but I'm
congressional.
thinking about the lady
It
in
was Barbara
California.
Jordan in 1973.
Hmm.
So from like 1868 to 1973, we got the first black person in Congress. That was Barbara Jordan.
From San Antonio.
No, from Houston.
Well, why we got a Barbara Jordan Center? Y'all got a Barbara Jordan Center over there?
Because y'all ain't got no blacks of your own. Y'all the
We
Barbara
got a
House.
Barbara Jordan
Yeah, y'all got that from us.
community center
Yeah, because Barbara Jordan was an impactful
for the
historical
state.
for
Yeah.
the country.
Mhm.
So The blacks in San Antonio didn't have nobody, so y'all chose Barbara Jordan to call
Yeah.
y'all senator because y'all. I guess San Antonio ain't got nobody of any black significance that they could have named that center after.
Well, you
Well,
got
you got
the
the
Navy
Navy
guy
guy
that
that
fought in
fought in
World War
World War
II.
II.
Now I'm just being curious. Barbara Jordan was a national figure,
Yeah,
beloved by everybody,
yeah.
and she was a forceful speaker. And the Barbara Jordan Center should consider an honor to have her as the name of that
Have her
center.
Have her
name on
name
the
on the
center.
center.
Yeah.
Because obviously, can you imagine? I don't know when that center was built, but the courage of the black folks in San Antonio
To
To
get that,
get that,
to get that in San Antonio,
it took a
it took a
lot.
lot.
I'm sure it took a lot. I'm sure it probably took some protests, probably took some arm twisting. I mean,
So
So
right
right
now,
now,
in order
in
for us
order
to
for us
get
to get
somebody
somebody
elected
elected
to
to
anyone in
anyone
these,
in these,
even
even
in the
in the
local
local
level,
level,
we got to
we got
have
to
some
have
commitment.
commitment.
And
And
most
most
people that
people
go
that
for
go
the
for the
local
local
level,
level, they're not,
they don't
they don't
have
have
many
many
federal
federal
well,
visions.
visions.
well,
They're
we got to get
concerned
a little bit
about
more.
just getting that
Getting that
little
little
council
council
seat or
seat or
something.
something.
Well, we got to get a little bit more sophisticated, man. We got to get a little bit more. That's why I said you almost got. I don't care whether it's a small group in San Antonio or a large
Mhm.
group in Houston. We got to have something that we're asking for. I don't care whether it's at the city level, the county level, the state level. I mean, you got to have an agenda. I mean, when the Realtor Association sends a survey out to candidates, they're asking for something. When the unions are having people come and speak to them about their position, they want to know what their positions are on things that matter to unions. Well, black folks got to start doing that. We got to have the resources to support the candidates that will support the agenda that we put forward to them. Uh, your HBAD is a Houston Black America Democrats, but again, it's a Democratic organization, so their agenda tends to mirror the Democratic agenda. I'm saying the black community. I'm saying the organizations within. We got to create a structure and start demanding from politicians. I don't care whether they're black or white or what color they are. Demanding from those politicians support for an agenda that has been vetted by the black community.
So, have
So have
you
you
thought of
thought of
any
any
particular
particular
thing that
thing
you
that you
want
want
to
to
push out
push
there
out there
as
as
something we
something
need
we
to
need
be
to be
asking
asking
for?
for?
Well, I mean, when it comes to a black agenda, I mean, what are some of the unique characteristics of the black community that require a certain type of advocacy, a certain types of legislation? I mean, do we need legislation to say that you can only have that payday lenders can only be built within 1,000 foot of so and so and so and so?
Of
I mean,
Of
schools
schools
I
or
mean, there's
or
or
black
black
economic
economic
districts?
districts.
cigarettes and tobacco products have to be cannot be within X number of feet of you got service stations and stuff right around the corner from schools selling cigarettes to our young people,
Hmm.
selling alcohol to our young people, and our young people are going out committing all kind of heinous acts, DWIs and everything else because they bought those kind of products in their community. They didn't go to somebody else's community and get them. They got them from their community. So do we really care about our young people? Do we really care about our community? And I think we got to come up with an agenda that addresses the unique problems of the African American community. And I don't care whether a person is running for city council, dog catcher, or whatever, they got to support that agenda. So when legislation comes up, they're in a position or they're in a safe enough seat because they've been supported by their community to where they can be vocal and supportive of legislation that's going to support the African American community. I don't think we have that now. I don't think that we have that kind of structure. I mean, like I say, it's a hit and miss. If you're in a large city like Houston or maybe Dallas or somewhere, you may have a HBAD, a Black American Democratic Organization, or you may have a nonprofits that do what I'm talking about. But if you're in most 50% of black folks still live in the deep south, and we're not, a good percentage of those are still on in rural areas and stuff. We don't have that kind of infrastructure around the country. But that's where most of your
So
that's where most of your black elected officials come from those. Well, 56% of the black folks are.
so how did this redistricting affect the black community in Houston? What
Oh
type
man.
of effects do you see?
Oh, I mean, this is racial gerrymandering 101. It's where the state took all the black folks from the ninth congressional district and paired them with the 18th congressional district to create a majority black congressional seat. So basically, they had to pack. First, they had to crack. They had to separate the blacks from the ninth. Then they had to pack them into into a district that was already a minority African American district. So they took black folks and just packed them. That's the only way to put it. And in the past, that's been illegal under the Supreme Court. But this is Trump's Supreme Court. I don't know what is going to come out of this. I don't know whether California or any of these cases gonna be winnable with
Whether they're
this
gonna make a
Supreme Court.
difference,
Huh?
whether they're gonna make a difference or not.
But let me just kind of go through some when we
Go
talking
ahead.
about PACs and stuff. The types of election spending. Hard money, traditional political spending. This kind of spending, donors must be disclosed. Meaning, if you ask me for money, I got to tell you who I am.
Yeah.
Contribution limits apply, and organizations are allowed to coordinate their efforts to help elect a candidate. This is not dark money. These groups include candidate committees, political parties, and traditional political action committees, the kind of thing that Chuck's been talking about starting up. Then you have soft money, outside political spending. Outside spending, sometimes referred to as independent or non-coordinated spending, refers to political spending made by organizations and individuals other than candidate campaigns themselves. And with these donations, groups may engage in a number of direct political activities, including buying advertisement that advocates for or against a candidate, going door to door, or running a phone bank. However, these organizations are not allowed to coordinate their spending with a political candidate. So let's just say you had a PAC, and you raised money. People gave you money to help so and so. You could go out and you could get a group of volunteers, go door to door. You could run a phone bank, but you can't coordinate with the candidate.
I can endorse a policy or an agenda of a candidate, but I can't support that particular candidate.
Right, you can't coordinate the campaign activities with that candidate's campaign manager.
Can he show up there? Or she show up there?
Yeah, she can come to an event, but you just can't coordinate what you're doing with their campaign. Some outside groups like super PACs are required to disclose their donors, but others are not. And then you got the different kinds of groups, the types of 501c3 organizations. These are political nonprofits. You got the 501c3 groups, and most you've heard of these groups, like the NAACP, Center for American Progress, Heritage Foundation, Open Secrets. Then you got the 501c4 groups, which I was a part of when I worked with the NAACP. The National Voter Fund was a 501c4. But other groups that are familiar to you because you've heard them during campaigns, the National Rifle Association, Planned Parenthood, Majority Forward, One Nation. Now you hear a lot about Planned Parenthood. Now they give money, right? What do you think they want in return?
They want that Planned Parenthood centers to stay open.
Where the centers are? Where are the centers located?
Centers
Yeah. Where are the Planned Parenthood centers located?
in the black neighborhood.
So how does so is that in the best interest of the black community? With all those pastors that get up and preach the gospel on Sunday about the right to life and all like this, do they support that? So why is the candidate supporting that?
And why are the centers in our neighborhood only?
Because of the what?
Why?
Money. Okay, and then you got 501c5 groups, and you've heard of, I just talked about these groups. Service Employee International Union, SEIU. You guys got a big one there in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
American Federation of Labor, Congress of Industrial Organizations, AFL-CIO, American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, ASME. Okay, you've heard of these groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
I, okay, these groups support. So when a candidate goes to a AFL-CIO endorsement meeting, what do you think that they're asking that candidate? To support things that are important to the AFL-CIO. And then you got 501c6 organizations. These are like the U.S. Chamber of Commerce that support them kind of businesses
Mm-hmm.
that devastate our communities.
That support
American Bankers Association. Ain't no banks in our communities. National Association of Realtors and all those groups. So that's where the money is coming from. That's where the support of these black candidates are coming from. So whose agenda are they carrying? Have I read off any major black organizations?
no.
Because because the candidate, the NAACP gets out there and does nonpartisan get out the vote efforts. Nonpartisan. They just telling people to go vote. But when they're out there with their signs and with their banners and with their T-shirts, they're also telling the opposition to go and vote.
Telling everybody to go vote.
Right. But they ain't got no money for no big time TV ads. Texas
Why,
got
why,
two.
why is it that we feel so disingenuous when we promote black agendas? I mean, we are so apt to not want to go out and say we are doing this for the black American or the black in America, the blacks in America. Why are we so reserved about putting that type of agenda out there?
Well, I think it's not that we're reserved. I mean, black folks are
We are.
black. I mean, black folks are part of the union, part of this, but that's not the black. That's not a black agenda. That's not a black.
We have
That's
put
not-
nothing out. I mean, but when you hear the LGBTQ community, they're talking about them. Why we don't talk about ourselves on our agenda, putting at least one thing out there that's directed in our favor for us by us. Why can't we do that?
I don't know. That's a good. I mean, because we don't have the infrastructure. Because we don't have the infrastructure capability is out there, but we haven't organized it. It's not very well organized. It's led. It's not led by us. It's led by the Democratic Party. The Democratic National Committee supports Democratic candidates. The Democratic National Committee gives money to state Democratic organizations, right? Those state Democratic organizations help elect Democrats throughout the state, right? But where's the black structure? Where's our interests identified? Yeah, we're part of something, but where's where are the candidates that's going to pay attention to our agenda? They're paying attention to the Democratic agenda because the Democratic leaning groups is where they're getting their money. But where's the black agenda? How do we get to focus on the black agenda?
That's my question too.
And until we build that kind of structure, until it becomes normal like it is in most other communities, because I think we got enough resources. I think we're in enough because the black legislators are from black areas. So it ain't like we don't have them available. It ain't like we don't have the positions everywhere. We just got to get the focus on the candidate. The candidate got to understand that black people have enough resources to vote to get them out of office. Because regardless of regardless of whose issue, if I got a, if my black candidate represents a majority black district, you think the LGBT community is the majority in that majority black district?
No,
So why do they put so much emphasis on an LGBT agenda?
because they have the money.
Thank you. Do you think abortion is a hot issue in a black representatives district?
No,
So why is he out there supporting that agenda and not dealing with the issues that the
all
black
about the
community
money.
all about the money? And until we get that kind of power in a country that was built on commerce and industry and money,
But
we're
see,
gonna be wagging our tail.
we got a lot of millionaires. We got a lot of people with money in the black community, but we have unfortunately we have a lot of people in the black community with money that don't have shit to do. Excuse me, my language. Don't have anything to do with politics.
Right.
I think our biggest loss is us not getting involved in the local politics, the state politics, and the federal politics.
Right.
And because we don't get involved, we lose every single time. And I can't believe if we look back at the 60s and 70s, how prominent black people were and how many changes black people encouraged and made happen. And here it is in the 2000s, we are not making change on anything. We're not making headway on anything. We don't even have a focus or an agenda led by the black politicians that we have in office. And they didn't get there because white people put them there. Black people played a major role in putting black people in the positions that they are in politics. There's some in Republicans that didn't have anything to do with it, but we have a responsibility right now is to get some people primed to run for office. And we're not effectively placing people in political strategic positions to run for these offices. And that's where we fall short. You can't pop up out of nowhere 3 or 4 months before election and talking about you running for office. You have to have a track record leading up to that. And in order to lead up to something, you got to start at a reasonable age and begin working yourself into that particular position.
I'm trying to.
And it's not happening here. So I only ask our listeners to go out and find where we're going to find those people. Back then, during the Black Panther stage, during the beginning of the NAACP, the Martin Luther King era, our main backing came from college students. I don't know one university has a political agenda in the black community right now, not even an HBCU. That's where our backbone is. That's where our strength came from. If it wasn't for the universities and colleges across this country, the Black Panther Party would never have gotten off the ground. Now, they were demised because of the federal government, but they didn't get their start without college and HBCU universities working in their favor. Right. They're the ones who stayed strike. They're the ones who made protests. They're the ones who accumulated funding for different political agendas. And right now, we're not asking our universities to do anything in support of our national Black or African American agenda.
Yeah, but we don't. I mean, we talk about. Okay, I'll give you a good example, right? You remember the story the back in the day the congressperson the senator that was caned by the senator from South Carolina because he got up and talked about anti-slavery.
No,
I don't. He was caned to death, and then all the Republicans came to his defense because he was up because the white Democrat was trying to beat him over the head with a cane.
I don't remember that.
Al Green, Al Green raises his cane at Trump.
He get thrown out.
They throw him out. Not one Democrat came to his defense.
Yep, you're right. Didn't hear not one. They should
No,
have got up and walked out with him.
no, they should have got up. They could have stopped the people from throwing him out.
No, they couldn't have stopped it.
They could have, or they could have all got thrown out.
That's what
But
I
I'm
would
just
think
talking
would
about.
happen. They
But,
all
but for me, that was a clear sign of
of the
black
weak.
of the weakness of the Democratic Party when it comes to the black agenda.
It really hurt to see him being moved out of there by himself. Not
And all
one
the
person
and all
stand up
the
in that
not
support.
one Democrat did not stand up and
Because it's all about personal agenda.
well, but the Democrats don't have. I mean, they don't have any.
Well, look at what's happening now.
Okay, okay, look. Why
Look
would
at
they-
Jasmine Crockett. She's out there all alone with no Democratic support,
right.
and she's telling the truth. But the truth is falling on deaf ears because she has nobody else singing that same song with her.
Right.
And it makes her look like she's on an island alone. And how can you, I mean, I can imagine the feeling. I've been in that position too, where I'm the only one advocating for the rightness of a situation.
Can you imagine if Obama had treated Zelensky the way Trump treated Zelensky? A state leader in the White House treated him like that, and the country ain't said a word.
Ain't said
Can
that.
you
No, he treated that man wrong.
They would have impeached
Another national.
They would have
another
called
leader.
Obama a national embarrassment, a national disgrace.
That will never die.
They still be talking about it. President Obama could not
But
have
look,
lived that down.
Not only is he getting away with that, he's not consulting Congress for anything. Think about all the executive orders that have been done that have every single one of those could have went through Congress.
Well,
But none of that going to Congress.
yeah, and Congress, and he has the majority.
But look at what happens with those if he is removed from office. If let's just say we have no cause a Democrat goes into the White House.
Keep trying.
What's going to happen with all those executive orders?
Oh, they go away.
They're going to get overturned.
They're going to get overturned, as well as they should. But he don't care. He got that power.
He's challenged every single system that's been in place for hundreds of years.
But any president could do that.
Yeah, but he chose to do it.
But
The other ones could have done it, but he's doing it. But but you really can't fight it because he's within his judicial right to do what he's doing.
Obama could have did it on behalf of black people.
But he never made it past the first one.
Why?
He the guy veto, what they call it, removed from office.
But the Democrats had the majority in the House and the Senate during his first term.
They the
Who was going to remove him from office?
It's so much political pressure and money, like you were saying earlier,
That's my point.
the money will change the way any country runs. And
That's
right
my
now, Donald Trump is doing his thing, and nobody can stop him because of the money.
Well, somebody can stop him.
Who?
Somebody can stop him.
Ain't no Democratic Party gonna stop him.
Well, he's got the majority on the Supreme Court. It's a conservative Supreme Court.
Yeah, they overturn everything.
And the Supreme Court is going to be reluctant to strip away any executive powers from the President of the United States. Because the Constitution is going to outlast Trump.
Well, look at alligator Alcatraz right now. They put a halt on using that facility. But watch what happens when they get to the Supreme Court.
Who put a stop on it?
As a federal judge declared it some environmentally healthy for something down there. But there's a hope on using it. But I don't think they stop.
Right.
Even though federal judges are coming out saying stop this, like the lady that just got removed, the black lady. They can't. He can remove her, and
Right.
there's a federal judge pending right now because she sued to keep her job, and so it may end up that she's going to be removed anyway, even though she's got a lawsuit pending to keep her job.
Right. Right. Right.
But you can't stop this political bulldozer wrecking our country.
Right.
I mean, do you really think we needed the Department of Education since nobody's really complaining about it being disbanded? Do you really think we need all these environmental protection agency controls in place, being that there's nobody fussing about drill baby drill? And that drill baby drill is nothing more than opening up federal land for private contractors to go in and drill.
Trump is a businessman. It's about money. Ain't nobody surprised. This country is a business, man.
And look
The,
at this.
the Constitution is a contract.
Absolutely.
So
Look at
why are we
look how it went down, Paul.
but why are we
All the
surprised?
rich people love what he's doing, and all the poor people support what he's doing. They support him out of ignorance.
No, I think the working class supports Trump. I think the working class supports Trump because of the promises Trump made about the economy, about lower gas prices, about lower food prices.
Who in their right mind would believe that?
So let me ask you a question. So do you think the black community supports the use of condoms and birth control for the sexually active teens and unmarried adults? Do you think the black clergy supports sex education in schools? You think the black clergy supports
I'm talking. You want to go down this road?
unwanted pregnancies? No, I'm just asking you. I know what you're asking me, but we're talking about the black community.
Do I think the black community would support that?
Right. Do you think the black clergy, the black church, that's our major, that's our bread and butter. That's our institution. You think they support the elimination of prayer in schools?
No.
You think the average black family supports that?
No.
So how did we get that far separated from the views of what black Americans think and our black elected officials? How did that gap develop?
Blindly voting
No,
and not voting.
no, money.
Yeah.
Money.
But we don't need money to win an election. You can't win a Senate seat without winning a local seat.
But
You
that-
got to
there are
start.
people
You
that
got
work for-
to.
there are
If
people that work
you
for-
put enough emphasis behind your local and your state government winning those seats, then you get in a position to win those federal seats. But if you're not putting an effort for those local and state seats, you're not going to win federal seats.
But do you think? But how did when you look at where most black we talking about the deep south. If you go back home to Mississippi, none of them black constituents gonna be for those kind of issues.
We got a majority in my hometown of
But
black
Benny
people.
Thompson. But what does Benny Thompson support?
Shit, I don't know. See, this type of topic make me start using these bad words. I apologize.
Okay,
I don't
you
want
cursed
to
before. I mean, this is your. This is a.
I don't
I
want
I don't think they're gonna censor you.
to.
But my point, my point, brother, is when it comes to politics, and you saying politicians got to start early, and we got to groom them and stuff like that.
Yes.
I'm saying this two-party system ain't working for us, brother.
It ain't working. I agree. We 100 on that.
This two-party system got too many interests, and we're
That's
just
corrupted the system.
we don't have the money to have the influence within the two-party system. Now we could if we get more involved in the nuances of politics in terms of we know about the voting because we the struggle, the right to vote, the Mississippi, the young people that got killed, the young people that was beating up on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. We know about the struggle.
Hmm.
Now we're talking about the sophistication of voting,
Yeah, this is the
of
Black
election,
News Network that we're talking on, right?
right?
All right. So our job right now is to make sure which is what we're doing. We're putting the information out there so our people know that they are needed. And you keep saying it's all about money. It's got to be bigger than money. I
Well,
mean,
what?
we didn't come this far with money. We didn't have no money to get to where we are now as Black Americans. We have a innate obligation to go out and exercise our political right and our free speech ability. And when we're not doing that part, when we are not saying anything, that's what kills us. Our inability to face the fact and voice the fact that what's going on out here in America, we're not saying anything.
Well, let me ask you a question. We're electing our candidates of choice. Most of our candidates come from majority black communities. So how come we don't? If we're electing the candidates of choice, what's the problem?
We're electing our candidate out of ignorance because we don't know jack about what our candidates are standing for. We go down the list and check Democrat. That's the problem. We don't go to the polls with an intellectual ability to select a candidate about an agenda. We select a candidate based on a party.
Well, where's the agenda?
And then they force us. The agenda is you cannot learn the agenda if you don't know the candidate. They force us. Let's say if you did a preliminary vote, right? They force you to say, are you Democrat or Republican? So you got to declare who you are. So now you don't know what the hell is on this other agenda. So because you're so focused on this one, and then you don't know what's on the Democratic agenda because you don't know the name. So you may know one or two names, three names on that list, but 9 out of 10 names, 9 out of 15 names, you don't know.
Right.
So that is where our problem is. If we're going to vote on a list of Democrats, why not us figure out who they are? And we don't know because we don't know civics, and we don't try to know civics. All we know is that tomorrow is the day we're supposed to go vote, and we show up at the polls and we go down the list without knowing that this one's been bought, that one's been bought, this one's been paid off. We don't know that.
How would they know that?
Because you got to do your research. You got to be into the civics and the politics of the whole situation. You are not going to learn how to get the right candidate if you don't know bigger or more things about the political agenda of this district
But the
or region or state.
But the two-party system is not a platform for people to do what you're doing, because you vote based on the platform of the party.
How do you start the third system?
Well, that's what we're talking about. I was trying to find here. I had a platform.
Elon Musk is talking about starting the American Party.
Well, he done backed away from that.
That American Party, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
even
because the American
the Tea
Party-
Party, how was it so easy for the Tea Party to get started when we can't have our own party? We got 40 million people here, and we can't start our own party.
Well, we could.
But you got, and then you got out of the 40 million people here, you got at least 3 million millionaires. Out of 3 million millionaires, why can't they pool some money? Well, I don't know who's gonna do it, but I know I can't do it. I ain't got $100,000 to donate to no damn political party.
Right.
So you gotta have at least $1 million to get started. You know, who's going to do it? You got 3 million people out there with millions of dollars each, and nobody got enough common sense to start a political party. Why don't B.O. Hughley do it?
Well, Cornel
Kevin
West
Hart.
Kevin West tried to.
What's his name? Tyler Perry. Oprah. Is it Oprah or Oprah?
because they're Democrats.
Well, they're Democrats because everybody they know in their past have been Democrats. Just like I say, everybody you know went to church just like you go, or just like people go today. That's why you still go. But that don't make it right.
Right.
And nobody wants to adventure beyond what the ancestors, not even the ancestors, the last 2 or 3 generations did. But before that, the Republican Party was about eliminating slavery.
Right.
But now we're focused on Democrats so heavily that it's not in our favor to stay that route. Just like it's not in our favor to flock to church every Sunday with 25 million people sitting up in there and not have a political agenda somewhere down the line.
Well, yeah, and you can count the blacks that made a difference versus
25 million?
versus the blacks that make excuses. I'm saying, I think an independent black party that is neither Democrat nor Republican, but takes their votes to the party that supports that agenda is the future of black politics in America. Because I don't think that we're ever gonna. I mean, when you look at the overall poverty in the United States today for black Americans, it's still about as high as it was when we only had 13 black people in Congress. Now we got 66.
And in worse conditions.
Well, it ain't markedly improved. So I mean, I
We
think
got
that
more done in the 60s and 70s than we've gotten done in the 2000s.
well, it was more to it was because things were so obvious, and what we got done
It's still obvious.
didn't have to. We didn't. This country, man, is about politics. Is about who gets to share a piece of that pie and how big a share of that pie you get.
This
Trump has
country is
been
about corporate greed.
Trump has been shrinking that pie for us, cutting health care,
But
cutting
yeah,
public
for
education.
us,
Yeah,
we've always been cut out of the picture. So now it's just being made clear to intelligent people.
and see the Democrats' strategy right now ain't to go after us. They're trying to get those white independents, right, to come back. So they're gonna ignore us to get those white independents to come back to the party. They think they got us no matter what. They're going after the
And they
independents.
do.
Because
Because we don't have anything
It's
set
the
up
independents that
in
decide.
defense of us.
It's the independents that decide elections. Why don't we become independent and disassociate ourselves from either party and let them come after
It,
us?
it takes a major movement and it takes people to sign up for it. Just like I don't like to keep comparing the church because I admire
But
anybody.
how can we be an independent party when we vote Democrat cycle after cycle after cycle?
You cannot.
80,
You go to
90%.
church Sunday after Sunday after Sunday. You can't change that. That's locked in. It's almost like it's in the genetic being of the black man and the black woman that this is what we need to do. But in reality, what's actually happening is the people that run the church are the ones who push the agenda. They can push that agenda and make it work. But why won't they push a political agenda and make that work too?
Right.
And the biggest fear is, well, if we're 501, what is it, 501c3 for a church? They don't want to do it because the government will cut our money. They're cutting your money anyway. If you're not paying taxes anyway. But Jerry Fowler and all these other prominent white preachers, Hagee, can talk politics in their church and nobody say a word. But the moment a black pastor say something about goddamn America, everybody and their mama got something to say.
That's true.
He didn't say that alone. He
He
said that
said
in
that in
reference
reference
to
to
situations,
situations,
specific
specific
situations,
situations,
but they
but they
took it
took it
apart
apart
and
and
made it
made it
about
about
America
America
only.
Right.
only.
Right.
And
And
then they
then
had
they
their
had their
president
president
come
come
back and
back
have
and
to
have to
apologize for
apologize
him
for
and
him and
disassociate
disassociate
himself.
himself.
Right.
That's not
That's
right.
not right.
So the
So the
only
only
thing in
thing
my
in my
mind,
mind,
our
our
only
only
objective is
objective is
two
two
focuses.
focuses.
If we
If we
don't get
don't
the
get the
universities, the
university, the
black,
black,
especially the
especially the
HBCUs,
HBCUs,
if we
if we
don't get
don't
the
get the
black
black
church
church
following
following
a
a
black
black
agenda,
agenda,
Right.
we're
we're
doomed.
doomed.
But we got
And right
And
now
right
you
now you
can
can
see it.
see it.
Our
Our
credibility gets
credibility gets
lower
lower
and
and
lower.
lower.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
see. I
I
know,
know,
Tracy,
Tracy,
about
about
the
the
echo.
echo.
I don't
I
even
don't
know
even
how to
know how to
fix it.
fix it.
But
But
thank you
thank you
for
for
identifying that
identifying that
for us.
I
for
She
was
us.
was
She
trying
was
just
to.
just
telling.
telling.
Oh, you got an
About
echo.
echo. Yeah, you
Yeah, you
remember we
remember
were
we were
talking
talking
about it at
about
the
it at the
beginning.
beginning.
Okay.
Um,
Um,
I don't
I don't
understand
understand
how
how
we're
we're
going to
going
make
to
that
make that
difference
difference
without us
without us
bringing that
bringing that
to the
to the
forefront.
forefront.
Our
Our
black
black
churches
churches
and our
and our
black
black
universities
universities
will
will
have to get
have to
on the
get on the
same
same
accord.
accord.
Well, first of all, I think you're right. I think our black churches, our intellectual institutions, our wealthy individuals, I think they got to get on the same page. Cause once somebody makes a move, it's got to be supported. Just like the civil rights movement, it was
Hmm.
supported. People they had to have money to bail people out of jail. They had to have money to print up
It's
information
enough.
to get to people.
It's
It's
enough
enough
money in
money
our
in our
community
community
for that.
for that.
I ain't
I
got
ain't
it,
It
got
but
it,
is.
but
It is.
but
It
it
but
is
is
it
enough.
enough
is enough
money
money
in our
in our
community to get
community
it.
to get it.
Why is
Why
it
is it
you got
you
a
got
billion dollars
$1 billion
and you're
and you're
afraid to
afraid
let
to let
100,000 go to
100,000
get
go to get
somebody out of
somebody out of
jail,
jail?
or
Or
to
the
post
post
bail or
bail
to
or to
start a new
start a new
political
political
party?
party?
Where do
Where
we
do we
begin? We
begin? We
cannot
cannot
begin
begin
without
without
people with
people
the
with the
resources to
resources
put
to
us
put
on
us
the
on the
right
right
track.
track.
Right.
We don't
We
have
don't
the
have the
resources.
resources.
And
And
believe
believe
me, if
me,
I
if
had
I
the
had the
resources,
resources,
I would
I would
start the
start the
party.
party.
Give me
Give me
give me
give me five million
$5 million. I'll
dollars. I'll
start a
start a
party and
party
we
and
get
we get
everybody to
everybody to
sign up
sign
too.
up too.
Well,
Let
I
me
Let
mean,
me
hold that
hold
and we
that
get
and
it
we get it
moving.
moving.
well, if you can convince a wealthy don't, if you start a party and if you can convince a donor to make a contribution to that party, I mean, uh, Cornel West was running as an independent, but
Not a
Not
lot
a
of
lot of
support
support
either.
either.
people accuse him of helping Trump win by steering votes away from the Democrats. So, I mean, that's, we, a
We
lot of
start
your
too
new,
Start too
late in the
late in the
game.
game.
well, we got to change this two-party system, man.
Like
Like
right now,
right
there's
now, there's
no
no
start
start
right
right
now, and
now, and
we're
we're
6 months
6 months
out
out
from
from
midterm
midterm
elections.
elections.
Now you see, here's the problem. If this whole structure of America was set up on a racist basis to
Which it
exclude
is.
certain people, yeah, we can pick at some of the structures, but the foundation is foundational, is permanent. You got to change the system. The system was set up to exclude us.
You don't
You don't
think
think
Trump is
Trump is
trying to
trying to
change the
change
system?
the
To include us? No,
I ain't gonna.
I think Trump is taking advantage of the system that was designed to exclude. Look here, who are the federal employees that? What are the color of the federal employees that been losing their jobs? They look like us.
Many of
Many
them
of them
do,
do,
but
Well,
many
but
of
many
them
of them
lost theirs
lost theirs
too,
too.
no,
because at
Because
the
at
head
the
of
head
every
of every
department
no,
there
department,
was a
there was
white
a
man.
white man.
no, but the disproportionate number of employees look like me and you. The disproportionate number of
If we
employees,
did it
We
by
did it by
percentage,
percentage,
it'll look
it'll
like
look like
us.
us.
We would
We
lose
would
the
lose the
greatest
greatest
percentage.
percentage.
yeah, the raw numbers, even the greater impact has been on people of color, people that look like you and me. And so, because Trump's not going to hurt his base,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's
Well,
not going
his
to
Well,
hurt.
his
base
base
don't seem
don't
like they
seem
don't
like they
have a
don't have a
damn
damn
clue
clue
anyway.
anyway.
Well, they do.
Because
They
what
do.
he's
What he's
doing is
doing is
screwing them
screwing
over
them over
just as
just as
worse as
worse
he's
as he's
doing
doing
America.
America.
The people around Trump are probably some of the most smartest political people in America.
I'm talking
I'm
about his
talking about his
base,
base,
the
the
people
people
who
who
voted.
voted.
I mean, well, either party's base, you can make that claim.
Well,
The
not
Democratic
much,
base the
not
same
more
way.
than his.
I
I
mean,
don't think, at least that's my opinion.
in what sense?
The people who voted for Trump are marginalized white people who
How
are
about
not politically astute in the elected officials. They voted because of his rhetoric, because of what they thought he stood for, or because his propaganda he has put out there.
so you don't think that they knew what he stood for?
No, then nobody knew. They assumed they thought
So a
they
man
knew
that
what he
was in
stood for,
office,
but the things that he's doing is hurting more of his people than anybody.
so he won in 2016. He lost in 2020. So you don't think in those 8 years people didn't know who he was?
People don't care who he is. I watched the segment where they talked about Trump making lewd comments about his daughter, and there were constituents making light of it, saying it was
Right,
okay.
right. But what I'm
So
saying is, you
people
don't think
that have that kind of delusional thought, I don't care what you do, you're still going to be okay. Trump said he can walk down Wall Street or Main Street and kill somebody, and he'd still be okay. He can get 34 felony accounts and still get elected president. You can't phantom the thought of a black man becoming a president of the United States with one felon. With one felon. Marion Barry, the only one that came close to having a felony and winning an elected office like that on a particular level.
no, I agree, but that has more to do with
He
America.
gonna
America keeps trying to say that it's different, but
he,
Trump says more about the soul of America and how much long we have to go than probably any other period in this country.
what you mean?
The fact that he was elected, the fact that he got 73, 70, whatever millions of votes, and you can't say all them millions of voters were people at the bottom of the well
Oh
on
no,
the
I
white
can't
side.
say all of them. At least 70% though.
Well, I don't know the percentage.
I would assume 70% or more
So you think 70% of the people that voted for him didn't know
are
who they were?
marginalized American white. That's what I think.
But they voted.
Yeah,
So why didn't the marginalized minorities vote?
it's still the numbers don't match. You got 40 million black, but you got 178 million people playing or portray to be Caucasian.
I'm saying that, but the majority of blacks that voted for the Democrat Party.
Yeah, of course. That's what they always do, which is the problem.
So you think the independent whites that voted for Trump are poor?
I'm not saying everybody is poor.
So you think
I'm
the
saying
so you think the independents that the Democrats are trying to go after are those people that did that were so ignorant that they voted for Trump? That's the
they
people.
going after the money holder.
No,
They
go
don't care about the people. The poor people are going to learn. They learn it on their own
So why did
because
so
of
why
the
did
services they cut.
so why did the independents go for Trump? The independent whites,
Because
why did they
the
go for
great
Trump?
white hope. Why would they not go for him when they
But you
running
said
against Kamala
you
Harris?
say he duped the poor whites.
Yes,
So how about the independent whites, the middle class whites, the
they voted
educated whites?
because they would not vote for Kamala Harris. They didn't vote for him because they wanted to. They voted for him because they didn't
Well, in
want
a
to vote for
two-party
Kamala.
system, they had
In
other
default, he was
they
the
had other
default.
they had other options. They could have went to the Green Party. They could have went somewhere else. They didn't have to go
He
for
was the
Trump.
best option, and he said some things in his campaign that they attached themselves to,
Like what?
and they stuck with it.
Like what?
I can't go back and tell you what he said,
But what I'm saying
but
is,
I know what he said. I
but you
heard what he
can't.
said, and I know why they voted for him because of what he said. You know what I mean? The thing, look what he did on day one. He released 1,500 convicts. That's one of the things he said. And who would not want to get those 1,500 white folks out of jail?
But some of them were black folks now.
One black.
Or was it just one?
Yeah, just one. And the very first one convicted, by the way, one black person.
Who was that?
I don't know his name.
Oh,
I
if you
mean,
know
I
it
know that
was.
there was one. You could only see one spot in the whole crowd, but there was
Oh, you
one
mean
black
the,
person.
you mean the January 6th conspirators?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, I
there's
know
one
about
black.
them. Yeah,
But for these are some of the things that they like: the dismantling of the Department of Education, the deportation of people that are productive citizens in the United States. They just haven't gotten their citizenship. The
right.
revocation of birthright citizenship, executive action targeting Harvard University and other universities, the executive action that caused law firms to pay him $16 million, executive action that caused the New York Post to pay him another $16 million, stripping power of regulatory
But
agencies.
these are after he got elected, right?
Well, these are things that he campaigned on,
Oh, he
that
campaigned
he
and
was
he
going to
didn't
go
win.
after all the people who put him in that position, who caused him to not win the election. He's not going to say lose the election. He's going to say not win.
Oh, okay.
All right, birthright citizenship, the USAID, Agency of International Development, that we talked about, threatening emails to federal workers. Look at when he started sending out those emails. He had Doge to send out all those emails to federal workers.
Right.
Uh, he used he removed us from NATO, removed us from the World Health Organization. He
Right.
closed or closing the Department of Education. Stopped the Pell Grants. I mean, recall federal government educational loans.
Right.
People that owe hundreds of thousands of dollars to the federal government because of the loans for school, these loans are being recalled.
Right. Right.
Now he's forcing college down students or kids to go to private companies to get loans to go to school, and then you don't get you can't defer these payments. You got to start paying that as soon as you get it. Rollback of the Environmental Protection Agency drill, baby, drill. This is why they voted for him, because that meant opening up the oil field. And when he was the president first time, see, people that own the companies in this corporation of America, they play the corporation to who the candidate they want. When he lost this election, the oil fields shut down their production so they can put people on the unemployment line, so the unemployment rate can go up, so they can say that, you see, when Donald Trump's not president, look at how the unemployment rate goes up. See, it's a whole orchestrated system of manipulation of the people. And that's exactly what he has done since he's been in office, doing all these different things. Every week there's something new that we have to deal with in our country. And I'm not one to sit here and try to name everything he's done, but I have intuition, I have beliefs that certain things are just inalienably not correct.
Right.
And what are we going to do about it? Is fuss every single day about it. But like you said, we do need another political party. But with all the billionaire millionaires in the black community today, if we can't form one, we ain't gonna form one. Because right now it's about how many billions I got, how many millions I made, and they for me and mine, not for the country. That's what's happening here. But I mean, we've had a great discussion and we've over hours. So go ahead and formulate your closing and let us have it. Don't tell me like it is.
Well, no, I'm, you know, money, money, money.
About them
I
dollars.
mean, I mean, it's about them dollars, man. We gotta come up with a plan. We gotta find the candidates that support that plan, and then we gotta raise the money and get out there and put them in office. And stop complaining about it. We gotta be about it. Uh, the this the courts have allowed money to become more important than the vote. To be honest with you, or as important as the vote. And there are 46 million black folks in this country, and a lot of them have money, and we just need to get a little bit more organization, a little bit more focused, and we can criticize some of the leaders of the past, but some of them did have a plan because that's what got us this far. It just didn't happen. The civil rights leaders had a plan. They didn't just wake up one day and say we're gonna boycott the buses in Montgomery because all the black folks in Montgomery wasn't in the same circumstance. Some of them had cars, some of them didn't have cars. Some of them rode the buses to get to work, some of them didn't ride the buses. You had to have a plan to deal with all those different situations. We don't have a plan to deal with the different situations that exist in the black community. I don't hear our black leaders talking about the diversity of the situations in the black community. The people, the CBC event in September, you think the person at the bottom of the well can afford to go pay $400 a night for a room? No. So
No.
we gotta have elected officials and politicians that pay attention to black folks wherever they are, and not just the folks with money. We're never going. Once you put money into politics, you're never going to be able to take it out. So we got to get busy, and we got to get busy building the kind of infrastructure. And I keep bringing his name up because Chuck knows this, and he keeps talking about it every time you have a conversation with him. It's all he talks about. And
Go ahead.
what
Go
was
ahead.
that?
I'm sorry for that.
Oh, okay. But no, this is a great subject. I think we need to have more discussions. I'm sorry the politicians that were supposed to be on weren't on. I think it would have added some more insight to what we're talking about in terms of America's political structure and what we need to do to make sure we got a seat at the table, and that at that seat at the table they're serving what we want on the menu instead of serving what others want and we wind up having to eat what others serve us. And so hopefully people have gotten that from this discussion today.
Okay. Before you go, I want you to hear a clip from the lieutenant governor from Illinois, right?
Who's that? The black woman?
Yeah, Julian Stratton. Juliana Stratton.
Sister and I respect Illinois. Talking about Trump. Check this out.
Thank you so much for joining us. Donald Trump says the people of Chicago are calling out for him to intervene because some people want a dictator and he was not. How does the city of Chicago feel about Donald Trump's desire to send him to Well, thank you for having me. And let me just start by saying I saw that clip where he says he's not a dictator, but I don't know too many people have to spend a lot of their time explaining to others that they're not a dictator unless they're trying to be one. As someone who has been born and raised in the city of Chicago, I've spent my career here, I've raised my family here. No one is asking for him to come to Chicago. Donald Trump is not focused on creating safer communities. He's only trying to really create chaos, and he's doing so because he is a small man who is a wannabe dictator who can't stand the thought of not being right in the center of attention. He's a weak man, and from my standpoint, all he wants to do is feed his ego and distract from his many failures as the president. So that's how we do it, and I can tell you, the governor and I are not going to roll out the red carpet with this wannabe dictator. What is that?
Oh.
Now that was
Yeah, I saw that on the news.
Juliana Stratton,
The
the
lieutenant governor.
lieutenant governor for Illinois.
Well,
She really had some sharp things to say about what's happening about the National Guard moving to Illinois or to
Well,
Chicago.
what do you think about the governor? I mean, the mayor of Washington basically
Maryland.
thanking him. Yeah.
Well, the comments being made about they don't want the National Guard there, as long as the governor has the right to make the decision, they should be given the right to make the decision. The
Right.
decision. But as far as the federal government saying that they're going to send troops somewhere, they have the right to do that too. But I can't sit there and Donald Trump for what he's doing, but I can say it's a right way and a wrong way, and what he's doing is not the right way.
Well, maybe the courts will stop him. I mean, he does have jurisdiction in D.C. I guess
Yeah.
because it's a district
Yeah,
and he's over the district. So, but the state you getting into another whole different territory about what he can do, what he can force a state to do.
right.
And so we'll see how this may be this the courts may I don't know, man. That Supreme Court is scary.
Oh, it is.
You think that they would rule that he has the authority
Yeah.
to send troops to send
So for 30 days, he does.
even
He
in the
can,
state?
he has to use that 1878 or 1887 law again. That same one he used to deploy the National Guard to California.
Oh, they went back to 1878.
Yeah, there's a law in the book saying that he can, but it has to be under three conditions, and California was not under those three conditions. But he
But he
still
sent
used it.
troops. He did it. But didn't he do it to protect federal buildings and?
That's what he claimed. You can always find a way if you want to.
Yeah, because
to
Chicago got a lot of
circumvent
federal.
the
Chicago
law
got a
on
lot of
books.
federal. Yeah, Chicago got a lot of federal buildings.
Yeah, I know. You can find a way. And there's not been a federal building attacked in Chicago in ever. The only federal building ever attacked was the one in Oklahoma City.
Now, I was gonna say the one in Washington D.C., the one that his folks attacked.
Oh yeah, that one. The state house. You mentioned hard money, dark money, soft money, then the super PACs and other different types of money. There's just so many millions and billions of dollars floating around for political gain that is unfathomable. I try to find out that word and I never get it right.
And the problem, I mean, look at you guys, mayor of San Antonio. I mean, District 2 representative. Do you think your District 2 representative represents the values of the District 2?
Hell no. No.
I mean, whatever his lifestyle is, and I'm not criticizing his lifestyle, but do you think he represents?
No. It's
Well, how does
plain
he
simple. He does not. There's not a single thing he's representing in the black community that's supposed to be black. If you represent a particular community, that you should be able to see change. When you don't see change, then that tells you what's being represented.
But my point is, he raised a lot of money to win, to help him win.
It didn't take him a lot of money to win. It only took 2,300 votes.
Yeah, but I bet you if you go look at his campaign war chest, he got donations
Well,
from
look
all.
where his money came from.
Right, that's my point. Because of his agenda, because of who he is,
Yeah.
and we got to be the same. All I'm saying is,
We're
take
not
that
going
as
to
a-
support. We're not going to support like that. They unequivocally supported that young brother for that position.
because
With
of
millions, he made millions of dollars doing
because of
that.
his, because of who he is and what he
Because
supports.
of his agenda.
Right. That wasn't the East Side agenda, his agenda. But he
His
was able
agenda.
to collect money from all over
Because
the
of
country.
him.
Now,
Or
and
from
they-
all over the country, all over the world for that matter. And that's the objective now for that community is to place their people in different positions all over the country. And they're doing it.
Right.
And I don't blame them. If they can get what they want done, they need to keep it moving just like they got it moving. And it's all based on how we move. Because everything they have done has been a replica of our movement. But they've made it theirs.
And young black people have created PACs across in the country. I can't think of the name of it, but a colleague of mine in the NAACP, they have a pack where they support black candidates all over the country. We just got to have more of it, more of those kind of political action
You
committees
know,
around the
and
country.
support is fine, Claude, but when we are supporting $1,000 here, $5,000 there, we
No, no,
don't.
no, no, no,
That
no,
ain't
no,
no money.
no. No, it's much more money than that.
I hope so, because
I
that
wish I
ain't
could
no
call
money.
it. I wish I could call the name for our listeners. While
We,
you're talking, I'm gonna look for that name.
okay. All right. This has been the Black News Network, BNN 247, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting live this Sunday afternoon at 3:30 p.m. We're going on an hour and a half in the show. So I do ask that you please take a look at BNN 247 on YouTube and subscribe to our channel. We can also use your support on Facebook. Don't cost you nothing. Join us in our plight to educate our people about what's happening in America today, and hopefully we can get the word out. There's so much information that we need to know about politics. I mean, I'm not here trying to give you a civics class, but I am here trying to get you involved in civics because that's where we can win. You cannot win opposing and fighting the system. The only way you're going to win in this country is to get involved in the system and start using the services and the laws and the regulations and the codes that they have put in place and use them to your benefit because they do work. They do work. I'm telling you. If you stop fighting the system and start using the system, you can get where you want to go in politics and law and anything else. And I'm a living witness of that. And I'm telling you it works. All you got to do is apply yourself and learn what's happening out here. It's all about being able to navigate the system. If you're watching CNN, NBC, CBS, and ABC News every day, you're contaminating your mind. You need to take a week off right now. Don't watch the news this entire week and watch how much your health improves and watch how good you feel for the week. Because this news is depressing and it brings you down mentally, which is designed to bring you down mentally, especially black people. Because there's nothing in the news today that benefits you. Not one single thing. And then they throw in this little feel good segment at the end of the show where they bring a black person in saying how great America is. Stop believing the bull crap. This is about us, for us. BNN 247 is not the local news. It is our news and our subject that relate to where we are in the U.S. of A corporation. Claude?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention we talk about political fundraising and political action committees, but there are a number of PACs out there. I just wanted to mention a couple. You know, you have the Black Economic Alliance PAC. You got the Color of Change PAC, the one that I'm familiar with, the Collective PAC, fighting for equal representation all over the country. Our Future is Black PAC, Black PAC, Black Women Organization for Political Action PAC. So there's a Black Church PAC. So we have.
Claude is experiencing some weather conditions in Houston, so he may have gotten blocked out for that particular reason. I hope he comes back on to finish his closing comments. This is the Black News Network, and there are PACs out there that we can join. We can even take one, and that was my next question for him, is how do we take one of those PACs and make that PAC part of what our agenda is and start to use that PAC to push our particular agenda? If you have one single thing that you would like our community to do as a whole for the country, not for the city, not for the county, but for a country. If you have one thing that Black people or African Americans, descendant of the the prisoners of war, the slaves. If you have one thing that we can do, mention it to me. Please send it to BNN247. You can always send it, reach me on Facebook, the WAR, WAR report. You can catch us on Instagram, BNN_247. Let us know what your thoughts are so we can bring it to air. And then if you want to be on the show, just let me know, or just send us an IM, send us something saying that you have a topic that you want to discuss, and we will definitely bring you on to discuss that topic. I want to thank you for being part of BNN 247 this Sunday afternoon. And don't forget, every Sunday we advertise this market. We take the news and turn it into what we believe should be told to our people. Join us on BNN 247. I want to thank you and say, have a great day today and a better day tomorrow, and look forward to seeing you next Sunday again on BNN 247.